Hello everyone, this is Chef Dan of Dan's Kitchen. Today we're going to make some chicken tikka. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is grab 800 grams of chicken thigh fillets. Okay, and use the smaller knife that the beautiful girl bought for me. Okay, so just chop them into bite-sized pieces like that. At the same time, let's keep our fingers away as best as possible. There we go. See, the thing about chicken tikka is there's some debate whether it's either Indian or English. Because when I was at university, I studied a course about Asia and the world, and I did one of my assignments on how chicken tikka came about. Okay, yeah, what happened was, it's a very interesting story, is in the 1960s and 1970s, at an inn in Glasgow, some Scottish traveller comes into the inn, and he wanted what did he want? Yeah, he wanted like a meal. So he was handed some roast beef, but he didn't like the roast beef. You see, the thing is, he was like, "This is too dry. Can you take it back, please?" So he'd be like, "This is too dry. You take it back, please," since he was Scottish. All right, and the Bangladeshi chef only had 3 things to work with. He had on hand a can of tomato soup. He had some spices and some Greek yogurt. So he was very clever, right? He combined all the ingredients into the roast beef, and then when the meal got back to the traveller, he was like, "Oh my god, this was delicious!" And yeah, that's how chicken tikka had come about. Also, I have researched. Yeah, well, I wouldn't have made that up, otherwise I would have been done for plagiarism when I was at uni, and I never did. But yeah, there's still some debate on its origins. There's a lot of chicken here, but it's really fun to cut when you have the right tools. Alright, so we've cut up 800 grams of the chicken thigh fillets. There we go, and place it in this big mixing bowl. And what's going to go into the chicken are these spices that I've already put together. They're going to go in as a marinade. Okay, so what goes in there is as follows. So you need a cup of the plain yogurt, like as so. Any brand will be fine. And then you need 1.5 tablespoons of minced garlic. So anything pre-made like this will be perfect. So you don't have to go to the trouble of mincing the garlic. Okay, then you need some ginger, about 1.5 tablespoons. And then we need 2 tablespoons of garam masala, one of the main ingredients to make the tikka. They wouldn't have called it tikka masala for nothing. And then we need some turmeric. About a teaspoon of that. And then we need a teaspoon of ground cumin. And then I used a teaspoon of the Kashmiri chili powder. It cost me a pretty penny to get. That's all they had. And just a teaspoon of plain everyday table salt. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is spoon in the cup of the Greek yogurt. They say Farmers Union from where I am in Australia is the best, but this generic brand is still really good. Okay, and spoon it in like that. Try and get out as much as you can, because wet ingredients like this tend to stick to the ends. Okay, and then put in our mixed spices. Right, put all that in there and give this a good mix. Doesn't matter how long you take to mix this. The longer you mix the ingredients together, the better quality it will be at the end when you're cooking it. Yeah. So yeah, this is what we want, like an orangey kind of colour for the marinade. Just mix a bit more. Alright. That should about do it. Yeah. Okay, then we're gonna put this in the fridge for about at least maybe 10 minutes to an hour. The longer the better. Alright, so while we're waiting for the chicken to marinate in the fridge, I'm going to keep it in there for the full hour so that all the flavours can come together. So what I'm going to do is just chop up 2 onions. As you can remember from my first video, on knife safety, well, best I can. I'm sure there are other people that have other ways to address knife safety, but hey, we all have our own ways. So anyway, yep. Some chopped onions. Yeah, I'm still not game enough yet to, to do the thing like most professional chefs do. Just like to go at my own pace. Wouldn't want someone like Gordon Ramsay breathing down my neck. Like one episode, this guy was eating the ingredients when he shouldn't have been doing so, while on the floor. Yeah, Chef Ramsay was like, "How'd you got enough of that, big boy?" Don't mess with Chef Ramsay, because that's what's going to happen. eyes now. But yeah, there are available in some cooking stores some goggles for when you're cutting onions. But yeah, they're not very stylish though. They make you, if you want to look like Dame Edna, go right ahead. Yeah. Won't be saying hello to any possums with in the kitchen though. Okay, so yeah. That's some of the onions done. I've already cut some up earlier, but yeah. Like, if you can't get the onions perfect, then don't worry about it. Your safety is always a priority. It always comes first. So yeah, chop them the best way you can. Okay, next we're going to need 1.5 tablespoons of garlic. We need to grate it freshly. Yeah. What you can do here is just get maybe 2 or 3 cloves. I say it doesn't necessarily hurt to have too much garlic. Yeah, I recommend getting like a local kind. In my case, Australian garlic, because it's not bleached or anything. It's not, so it doesn't look artificial. Won't have any chemicals, but that's just me. Just chop the ends. Okay. And as always, watching your fingers so you don't cut them. Can't emphasize that enough. Okay, and then we peel the garlic. Okay. Yeah, this will definitely keep the vampires away. A lot of Maltese dishes, they put on loads of garlic. I have an ex-girlfriend that's Maltese. Yeah, really, really nice, wonderful people. So most Maltese cuisine is more very much similar to Italian. But we're not making Italian or Maltese, are we? Okay. So then what I'm going to do now is use the smaller side of the grater. Because it needs to be finely grated. Just take it easy when you get to the end. Because again, you can cut your fingers on that. I think I'm going to need some more garlic after this is done, because I'm going to need 1.5 tablespoons. Okay. there's my knife rattling away there. Move that aside. Okay. Yeah, don't worry, I don't have a cold, so I don't have COVID or anything. Still sniffing from the onions. Oh, made my eyes water. Alright, so once we've grated all the garlic, set it to a side. That's 1.5 tablespoons. Next, we need to finely grate a tablespoon of ground ginger. You know, I was amazed when I was a kid that where ginger actually came from. I had no idea it was a root. Yeah. It's got a nice, pleasant fragrance. Unlike the durian fruit, although I've never actually smelt it, but I'm in no hurry to smell it. Right there. Now, if it fits the tablespoon, voila! There's your tablespoon of grated fresh ginger. So put that to the side. Okay, so get a very large skillet, and we need to melt 30 grams of butter. I like to chop mine up so it melts quicker and won't give it enough time to burn. Slide it around. Makes me think of that Simpsons episode where Homer was that giant and the townspeople were making him pancakes, and they were pretending they were skating across the giant frying pan, wearing butter on their feet. Makes me think of that. See how that's gone, melted already. Alright, and what we want to do is turn the heat down to a medium. The reason behind that is because if you have it too high, it'll burn on the outside, but leave the middle relatively raw. But if you have it too low, it'll take forever to cook. So we're going to put in half the mixture of the marinated chicken. We don't want to overcrowd the pan. We want it to cook evenly and beautifully. Smell that nice smell now. So, do your best to spread it out. Okay, like so. And what we'll do, we'll leave it for about 3 odd minutes, yeah, so that they can have the chance to brown, you know what I mean, be a nice colour. So yeah, in a couple minutes that is going to darken a little bit, meaning that it's cooking, and that's exactly what we want. Yep. Okay. Yeah, get a lot out of 800 grams of chicken. It's almost a kilo, or 2 pounds if you're from America. Still trying to get my head around some of the imperial measurements. Okay, timer is finished. Now we're going to flip these over. Yeah. Not sure if you can see very well with the lighting on the camera, but the colour has actually gone from a light orange to a darker colour. So that's, like I said, that's exactly what we want. Make sure that heat is not too high, not too low. Don't want to massacre this on my first video. Check every one of them, because chicken is very easy to get sick if chicken's not cooked properly. Or any meat for that matter. I'll get into it when I prepare some hamburgers. The dangers of minced meat if not cooked properly. But I'll leave that for another day. So just keep searching for any lighter bits. I'm just going to set the oven to a very low setting. The reason is because I'm going to, once I've cooked the chicken, I'm going to put it in a bowl and I'm going to set it in there to keep warm. This may even help the chicken a little bit. And also because we don't want the chicken to cool down and be in the danger level. So the danger zone, okay, is between 5 degrees and 60 degrees Celsius. Any higher than 60 is good, any lower than 5 is good, but not in between. Alright? Yep. So that 3 minutes is up. So then now we're gonna put it in this bowl. Saucepan is clean there before. Still very new to this. Very careful. Don't be too impatient. Putting it in slowly and carefully, like that. Right, so that first batch is done. We're going to put in the second batch. Yeah, just try to scrape off any excess marinade that's in the bowl. Because that way, we can cook it better. We want as much of the flavour as we can. So here's the second half. So I didn't really put in a lot for this one. Most of it went on the first batch, but it still cooked evenly. Then again, this is a really big frying pan. Good old Tefal. French really know how to make excellent products. Just like this frying pan. Pays for itself. Anything in European is good quality. So is Japanese. All the countries that are renowned for their big business, they really know how to make products. But good business is where you find it. So as from the first batch, 3 minutes this side, and let it brown and change colour slightly. Then we flip it over. Okay, there goes the timer. So now we're gonna do what we did before and flip it over. Well, don't literally flip it over, otherwise you're gonna make a real bloody mess. All right, but you know what I mean. Just flip it over like so. And as always, the any pale pieces, the lighter coloured bits, just flip it over because they need to be cooked. If you're unsure, just cook it, turn it over like that, so it's cooked properly. And if in doubt, you may go longer than 3 minutes if you need to. It's better to be safe than sorry, but also keeping an eye on it so it doesn't burn. Don't want burnt food. Okay, time's up for that one. But, yeah, like I said, it's never going to have it in here for too long. But then again, don't have it for too long because it'll burn. You want to cooking nice and white. Once it's done, put that in the bowl. Very carefully so we don't spill any. Cannot emphasize that enough. Alright, so what I used here was a like a noodle bowl. It's not too big, not too small, it's heat proof, so yeah, very versatile to use. Not necessarily just for eating, use it for cooking as well. Now we're going to put this in the oven. So yeah, we're going to put that in the oven on a very low temperature so we don't, So we don't want to roast it or anything, just want to keep it warm. So when it's ready for the next phase. So now we need to melt another 30 grams of butter. I made a boo-boo there before. When I melted the first lot of butter, you could also use 1 to 2 tablespoons of oil. In the end, they all do the same thing, but they may have a different taste to it, depending on what you use, I guess. You just be your own judge. And people judge about that. Look. So what? As long as it tastes good to you, that's what matters, alright? So now the onions that I chopped up before, we are going to saute them for about 3 to 5 minutes. I'm going to add a bit of oil to this. It doesn't look very... And another thing about cooking is problem solving. If something doesn't work, just think of appropriate alternatives that will benefit you. You can't lose, basically. Well, you do if you blow it like burning the ingredients. Okay, so now we add the 1 tablespoon of the freshly grated ginger and 1.5 tablespoons of the freshly grated garlic. So we're going to saute this for another minute. Smell them mixing together now. Mix them around like that. Just want to keep mixing like that, stirring. Now it doesn't matter if the onions get too brown. Well, I don't find that too much of a problem when the onion's brown, like this. Okay. So that's the minute gone from that. And now, what I'm going to do is add spices that I prepared before. These spices I just added consist of what do we got? We got 1.5 teaspoons of garam masala, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1.5 teaspoons of ground cumin, and 1 teaspoon of ground coriander. got to be a bit careful and more vigilant here, because the spices will now make it the pan a bit more dry, and so it's much more prone to burning. So let's keep a very close eye on it. Make sure you have a proper level of heat. So I've got here medium. Medium heat always, you know, well, not always, but most of the time keeps that balance, so you don't have to worry about it burning, like being burnt outside and raw inside when cooking meat. Yeah, if we have it too low, then it's not going to cook as well. It's going to wait a very long time. Okay. Next, we pour in some tomato puree. So basically, you know, like that passata you use for to cook pasta with, you know, pasta sauces. And then next we got to put like teaspoon of Kashmiri chili, teaspoon of chili powder, teaspoon of the salt. Okay, we've just got the spices in. Give it a mix. Make sure we're getting everything in there. And we're going to aim to get like a deep reddish brown colour. Let's just keep mixing that. God, it looks and smells like a pasta sauce. Kind of like the fusion challenge they did on MasterChef several years ago. They had to fuse two cuisines together. Like, for example, do Mexican and Moroccan. Make Moroccan style tacos, like using chicken with Moroccan spices, put it into a taco shell. But in this case, looks like you could mix pasta in here. I don't think that would taste nice, but then again, if you're an experimental cooker like me, go right ahead. Oh, excuse me. So we've got to stir this occasionally. Like so. Okay, so we've got the desired result. Okay, now we pour in 1 1/4 cups of thickened cream. Cream, and we need 1 teaspoon of brown sugar. Oh, sugar. Sorry, just being silly there. Reminds me of this girl when I was at the shopping centre. Oh, we just parked the car. this girl had her shopping bags and the wind blew them away, and she was like, "Oh, sugar!" in front of everyone. Just so random. But yep, what we do here, stir in the ingredients, make sure they blend with the thickened sauce. Okay. See how it's starting to come a bit darker now? That's exactly what we want. Okay, keep stirring. Just keep stirring until you're satisfied. So it's a nice orange colour like this. I've just got the sniffles from when I was cutting out those onions. Okay. There we go. So then leave for about 8 to 10 minutes. And then what we do, get the chicken out from where it's been kept warm, add that in. As much of the marinade as you can. Okay. And then mix in the chicken with your sauce. Just being very careful that you don't, spill any off the edge. If it does, then don't worry, nobody's going to judge you for that. There's no chef, and this includes Gordon Ramsay. No chef has ever started out perfect. You're going to make mistakes. It's all a matter of trial and error and determination. When I was about 8 years old, 8 or 9, the first thing I ever cooked were some sausages. I told myself, Mum and Dad aren't around to cook for me. Do it myself. There we go. And it can also help your creativity. Just similar to this. Probably not the best tasting tikka in the world, but good enough for me. As long as it's good enough for you, that's all that matters. So we will let that bubble for about 8 to 10 minutes. This will help the chicken cook even further, make it more tender, soak in the flavours of everything. That marinade that we that they were sitting in, and now this sauce. Who do we have here? Hi, Madison. Oh, that's my cat Madison. She is such an angel. Yeah, that's right. Look at the camera. Adopted her from the shelter. No one wanted her, but I certainly did. Yep, it's coming along nicely here. All the flavours, all the spices and everything, the combination of the meat, everything, the veggies, they're all coming together now. Very interesting to think about. Making all these combinations and everything. Kind of like with art, mixing colours, seeing what they can create, finished product. But the only thing is, the difference between cooking and art is, though they are similar, the results can be very creative, but, right, you get to eat it. Oh, it's done. Turn the heat off. And there you have it. Takes a lot to make this, but the rewards are worth it. Okay. And now we are gonna wait for the rice to cook. Okay, so here's the finished product. What we're gonna do now is I've cooked some rice. I recommend using a rice cooker. It cooks the rice almost perfect and it's not too gluggy, depending on how much water you put in there. Okay, some rice. And now, got a text message. What we're gonna do is spoon some of the tikka on the bed of rice. Okay, so there you have it. Some naan bread to go with it. Garnish with some coriander. Now we're ready to eat. Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. There you have it. Homemade chicken tikka from scratch.